Certain fancying as a god. I can't really say in person. Some people would kind of, not as a god, but like celebrity culture, I guess. Nothing too extreme, not compared to what I've seen with a lot of other people. Our god, that's not true. I feel like if you've watched long enough, you know that I don't like we're pretty realistic, right? With like how we, I don't know, if you've been around long enough, I think we're pretty realistic and honest about the whole culture. We're educational, yep. Music you aren't viewed as highly in K-pop, yeah, or like in singers in general, right? Like there's different levels, and also what we were known for too is like YouTube stars in general, especially back in the day, it was more personal. People felt like they knew you more than they treated you like a celebrity. You know, people felt like they knew you. Whereas like a lot of times it was recommended that you don't want to get too close. For a lot of celebs, they don't want to be too out there in the public or too close to, before, this is more in the past, because it makes you more of a god. Like it makes you more of like a rarity to not see them out in person and to not sign autographs and take pictures with people. They're harder to get to, so they're more valuable. So there's a lot of that. It's a little different with social media, but to a certain degree, I know that was a thing. It still kind of is. I met someone in Korea where she believed the idols had to give up their private life to be a K-pop idol because they are in the public eye and cannot hurt fans. Yeah, that is, I mean, like I said, I don't understand that culture. I don't agree with it, but like that's part of it, right? That's part of their culture. Like who am I to say that that's wrong? and maybe in their culture, they knew what they were getting into. They chose that life, right? Which is why I can't say, oh, I think these fans are wrong for attacking Jay and whatever. From their perspective, maybe it's completely fine. Tomorrow, guys, I'm doing a college talk, which I haven't done in so long. Kind of nervous for it. I honestly would prefer to do talks in person than I would do because I'm doing it over Zoom. Are you coaching tomorrow? I am, but like I don't know if I can finish the game. So hopefully it's a blowout either way. It's just I really didn't plan this out. Like I had agreed to this like way early on, and I didn't realize it was on a Sunday, and I should have checked the schedule because it's probably gonna be like a little bit later. I probably could even ask them to reschedule, but it's too late now. I forgot that I agreed to it. Regardless, that's why I can't. Well, I wasn't gonna stream because I have to coach, right? But unfortunately, I can't finish the whole game. What for? It's some event. They asked me to speak, and I was just like, well, I mean, if they're gonna pay me, it's so easy to do, and if they actually want me there, then I'll do it. But it was like and it was on Zoom. Like that's so easy to do. If it were like if I had to go in person, I probably would have said no. The fact that people are okay with Zoom things, I'm all for that. Dude, I get to stay home and still like get to do appearances. That's great. I think that's awesome. I wish we had that back in the day, actually. I would have done way more appearances if I could stay home and do it. I just hate traveling. And honestly, I don't mind meeting people, but I don't like touching people. And that was a lot of meet and greets, was touching, like a lot of touching. You know, this is pre-COVID. Handshakes, hugs. Like, it's not that I don't like hugging people. It's just there's so many people I think about where have they been? And this is pre-COVID, right? Even with my hands, I just felt dirty. You're a germaphobe? No, it's not a germaphobe when you're literally touching hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, sometimes thousands of people in one day. Like, think about that. Before COVID, people, that's not weird. It's like, oh yeah, you're meeting your fans. That's nice. During COVID, you think about stuff like that. But I always thought about stuff like this. Like, this is a lot of like potential sicknesses and illnesses, and you know what I mean? I used to think about that a lot. Funny how you're so different from your videos and a big introvert. I think I've said that in videos before. And I've talked about it in interviews a long time ago, where how people will meet me and they'll think I'm upset, but I'm not. It's just they expect to see like, hey guys, and like all this energy, but like that's how we did videos, like vlogs. And over time, we toned it down more and more, and people thought I was upset. And I'm like, no, this is just how I talk. So we started introducing BTS, not the band, like behind the scenes, and people were like turned off from it, but some people understood like that's who we are, right? I used to hug people a lot. Now I forget how to. I didn't mind like hugging people. But when you're hugging that many, right? It's like when you first meet someone, I don't mind that. When you're meeting like hundreds and hundreds of people, that's where it feels like, oh man, I feel dirty. And it's not like I'm saying they're dirty. It's just in general, you don't know. One of those people, just one person could have the flu and you could get the flu. This is before COVID. And I would get sick a lot of times on these trips when I get back. So, yeah, I didn't do them as much. And really what really stopped me, and I still think about it, it makes me sad, but what really stopped me from doing shows was the Christina Grimmie thing. Like, after that, I was just done. I was like, I don't want to ever go out again. I got a little over it because people got safer with that. But after that situation, I was like, I'm not doing shows. Because if we've had threats, and I'm sure she has had threats, but it's never been fulfilled. Like, it's never actually happened, and it became real. And I was like, oh my God, dude. Like, there's so many times this could have happened to all of us. It was insane. You just never take the threat seriously until it actually happens, which is like kind of stupid, but at the same time, until it becomes real, right? It was such a sad death. Yeah, it was really sad, dude. I wasn't even that close to her. Like, I knew her. We've met a couple times, but it really hit me. That one really hit. Miss Christina, she's a YouTuber YouTuber singer, and she ended up getting shot at one of her concerts from a crazed fan. Yeah, she at a normal like meet and greet, stuff that we did all the time. Well, she joined The Voice as well, right? Super sweet girl. Soon she was very nice. I'm not just saying that because she got shot. Like, people usually say the nice things. She was actually so nice. Like, one of the nicest people I met in the scene, which makes it even more, I don't know. Not that it wouldn't be sad if she wasn't nice, but you know what I'm saying. That one hit me, man. And I stopped doing shows. I was angry for a long time. That how long ago was that actually? I don't know how long ago, but they made a law because of that whole situation, having to do with like internet stalking. 2013, maybe 15. It's disturbing how the killer had such an unhealthy obsession. Yeah, but realistically, guys, we've had all my friends, everybody in like the scene has had those people. We just never took it seriously, right? Because it's like, oh, you're through the screen, you're weird, whatever. Some of them have stalkers that'll show up, but it's just like, okay, well, just stop. Okay, stop harassing me. Some of them have to get like restraining orders, whatever. This one, it never really came true. There's always weird people, and there's gonna be weird people in the world. But it never got to that point. We get threats all the time. I was getting threats all the time from when I was in high school as a 16-year-old kid. I was getting threats, and nothing happened. It was just lucky. I didn't think it was real because it never happened. And over time, you think you're fine and you're safe. In the beginning, I used to take them seriously, and then they, over time, it's like, well, people say this shit all the time. They threaten me. They say racist shit. They say all kinds of shit. They don't do anything, and you think you're safe. And it takes situations like that where you're like, oh my God, that could have happened to anyone, man. That could happen to any one of us. I'm sorry to go through that. Nah, it's like I said, there's certain things that come with territory, and you just gotta be smart about it. There's like, yeah, with that amount of people watching, there's always bound to be some sick people, right? I can't imagine that you'd feel safe and at such a young age. There's times where there's weird shit that happened and it would make me afraid a little bit, but like over time it happened so much, it was never that serious. Like once in my home in Hawaii, people came and spray painted tihi on my parents' house. Like, the fact that they did that is already fucked up. But like, it wasn't even my house. Like, if you didn't like me, you're taking it out on the wrong people. Like, that's not my house. You know what I mean? Like, to do that is more of like, the scary thing is like the fact that they came all the way to my home and were there long enough to spray paint my house. You know what I mean? While we were in it. That's the scary part. If they had more malicious intent, like, they could have done it, right? There's things like that that comes with the territory, but like, to a certain degree, it's like you have to. What do you like? You need better measures. Hence, where I live now, there's a lot of things. People tried to come up to my other house because I didn't have like a gated community and security, and they tried to come to my windows and take pictures of us through the windows, like stuff like that. Where like it happened so much, it was never anything too aggressive, I guess, but it's still really, it makes you think a lot, and you do have to live with it. Like, I never had my blinds open. Right now, I would love to have this. I have like curtains to have natural sunlight in, but I know for a fact that I don't want to have to worry about people looking in, even with security and stuff like that. I don't want people to have to look in, so I keep all my windows closed for the most part, because I don't want to think about it. And when I am in front of a window, I automatically am thinking about it, that people can see me, which a lot of people don't have to worry about, but it's part of it. You know, you just grow up with it. Same when I go out in public. I'm constantly, without even realizing it, because I never noticed I did this until I've been with other people who never hung out. I constantly can see when people pull out their phones, like videotape or to take pictures or whatever. Like, I can spot it pretty right away for the most part. Whether they think they're slick or not. There's sometimes I find pictures online after the fact, but I didn't even realize I did that. But then they'll be like, how did you know that person was going to come up to you? It's like, I literally saw them. They all have the same patterns. Not they all, but like some of them have very similar patterns. I didn't realize I looked for that stuff, but that's part of it. That's stuff you have to do, because what if they're crazy, you know? Even with Pewds, he stopped taking pictures because he felt like a show pony. Yeah, I don't really feel too bad about pictures. Certain situations I've learned to say no, where I never used to before. But there's certain situations where, like, if I'm chilling, I don't care if they want to take a picture or whatever. If it's during like me eating, I'll be like, no. Maybe after. Never excited about having fans at first. I think initially in high school, I thought it was very cool. I didn't really see it until later though. Because in Hawaii, in my town, everyone kind of knows each other. So no one, they would say, oh, it's cool, right? But no one really treated me different. It wasn't until I like left my hometown and kind of saw how people acted, I guess. To me, I had more anxiety meeting people. I wasn't like happy about it. I was more like, I don't want it to happen, because again, people would think that I would have to worry about how I presented myself. Because people would say shit online, on Twitter or whatever, and be like, oh my God, he wasn't like how he is in his videos. He's so mean. Or like, not mean. They wouldn't say mean. They would be like, he was so like mad. Stuff like that would always like, and then people would be like, oh yeah, I heard the same thing. It's like, I was literally never mad. I took a picture with you. How am I mad? And people would just expect this character that they saw on YouTube. And I didn't like meeting people, because I would have to put on a performance. Is there ever a fear of getting canceled? There's always, to a certain degree. You don't want to be canceled, but I think more so when I was doing YouTube, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, having to be more careful about everything. There's always that fear. It's not just because of the current trend of canceling people. It's just in general, you don't want to do stuff that upsets a lot of people, regardless. Hopefully, maybe if you do meet some people from Twitch chat, we won't act like that in person. No, guys, I was talking about like my early experiences. I think for a while, have stopped caring about how I present myself. And if people want to say shit, they're gonna say shit regardless. That's what I've learned. If they're cool, they're gonna say nice things about you. I mean, they're gonna say what they really experienced, right? And if they got a bad vibe from you, they're gonna say that too. And I just stopped giving a shit a long time ago. And I found that it's so much easier and nice to have those experiences rather than feeling like I have to put on a face or a show. If they thought I looked mad that day, then fuck it, I looked mad. You know, if they thought I was rude to them, which most of the time I feel like I'm very not that. I think I'm very like patient and polite. I think that's perfectly fine with me. I think rudeness I think people conflate rudeness with being straightforward. Yeah, maybe that too. But no, I'm still like, I'm not like, when I meet someone, I'm not like, I'm still gonna treat them as if it's someone new I just met, right? And most times I'll go off based off their energy. A lot of times people will, I don't think they realize it, but they're probably acting a lot more odd than they think they are. And a lot of times they think that it's the opposite. They think they're acting a lot more odd than they really are, and they make it awkward. But it's understandable, right? Just act normal is the best way. So it is lately. I mean, granted, I haven't been going out, but the older I get, and because I'm not posting as much YouTube stuff, the older the viewers are, right? In general, it's a lot better experience when I deal with adults. Like, I think it's just natural, right? Like, maturity over time. Like, it's not as crazy. He called us old. No, I mean, you got to keep in mind, when I was posting in my prime, a lot of the viewership was like 13 and under, right? Not under, 13 to 17. But that's like high schoolers and middle schoolers. They don't act the same as like someone who's like 20, right? Even just asking for a picture is not the same. Or sneaking pictures or whatever. I always sweat really hard when I meet someone new. So I just tell people I'm an athlete. There you go. That's one way. I've been watching you since I was 10 to 12. I turned 18 in March. That's my point. Meeting an 18-year-old is different from meeting a 12-year-old, right?